All right, it's day 2 of adding and subtracting rational equations. So hopefully you're starting to understand it a little better. When we add or subtract fractions, we always have to have a common denominator. So a common denominator is needed. And how do you find one? You have to multiply denominators together or find the LCM. Multiply denominators together. Okay, so let's look at some of these examples. So we must find the common denominator, then add things together, combining like terms to simplify. So we have 2 over x plus 3 and 3 over 2x plus 1. So neither denominator is the same, so our common denominator is going to be x plus 3 times 2x plus 1. And so then we need to multiply. So hold on, let me do this. We need to multiply the 2 by what it was missing, the 2x plus 1. That's what its denominator is missing. And we need to multiply the 3 by what it was missing, the x plus 3. And so now we can combine those into 4x plus 2 plus 3x plus 9 all over x plus 3 times 2x plus 1. And so we end up with 6x plus 11 over the same thing, x plus 3 times 2x plus 1. So that is number 1. Number 2, we have the denominators are x minus 4 and x minus 6, so they don't have anything in common. So that means our common denominator is those two multiplied by each other, x minus 4 times x minus 6. So we have the 1, and it has to multiply by what it's missing, the x minus 6. And then minus 3 times what it's missing, the x minus 4. Because it only had the x minus 6 in its denominator. And so then we can combine the top. So that's x minus 6 minus 3x plus 12 all over x minus 4 times x minus 6. So that becomes negative 2x plus 6 over x minus 4 times x minus 6 right here. Okay? Now, before we can add or subtract, sometimes we need to factor each fraction to see if there are any common denominator parts. Then find the common denominator and move on like above. So here, I want to break down each denominator. So x squared minus 7x becomes x times x minus 7. So we can see they both have an x minus 7, so we only need to list that one time in our denominator. So we took care of the x minus 7, and then there's also an x term that's missing. So our common denominator is x times x minus 7. So when we look, this x doesn't need to multiply by anything because it already had the x times x minus 7 as its denominator. But the 1 needs to multiply by what it's missing, the x. So we just end up with 2x over x times x minus 7. We can cancel out the x's. So we get 2 over x minus 7. So that one actually reduces. Doesn't always happen a lot in adding and subtracting. All right, let's look at number 2. So x plus 3 is already factored out. X squared minus x plus 12, or minus 12, sorry, becomes x minus 4 times x plus 3. So they each have an x plus 3, so we would list that one time. And then we list any other factors that are available, the x minus 4. And so on top, the 6, we need to multiply by what it's missing. It's missing an x minus 4 over here to make the common denominator. So 6 times x minus 4 minus, and then the 2x minus 5 isn't missing anything. So we don't need to multiply by anything because I already had the common denominator. And so now we can combine our like term, combine everything. 6x minus 24 minus 2x plus 5 all over x plus 3 times x minus 4. We combine our like terms, 4x minus 19 over x plus 3 times x minus 4. And so that is our final answer. When we get to number 3, we are going to factor out. So we factor out the x squared minus 9. That's x plus 3 times x minus 3. So we can see both denominators have an x plus 3, so we need an x minus 3 over here. So when we do that, we end up with the 4 doesn't have to multiply by anything. But we have x plus 3 times x minus 3. That becomes 4 plus x squared minus 9, because that's what it multiplies out to be. And it's all over x squared minus 9, so sometimes if you want to multiply at the bottom, that's fine. And then we combine like terms. So this becomes x squared minus 5 over x squared minus 9. And that's as much as you can reduce it. We can't cancel out the x's because they are both subtracting something different. All right, let's look at this last one. So 3x minus 15, we can take out a 3, and it becomes x minus 5. 3x plus 21, we can take out a 3, and it becomes x plus 7. So in this case, they both have a 3, but then the x minus 5 and x plus 7 are separate. So when we write it up, our denominator is 3 times x minus 5 times x plus 7. So that means that the 2 needs to multiply by the x plus 7, and the minus 5 needs to multiply by the x minus 5, because that's what it was missing. And so now we can work it all out. So that becomes 2x plus 14 minus 5x plus 25 all over 3 times x minus 5 times x plus 7. And then we will simplify it. We get negative 3x plus 39 equals 3 times x minus 5 times x plus 7. We could take out a 3 of everything. Get rid of this 3, take out a 3 out front, and we could be left with negative x plus 13 over x minus 5 times x plus 7. That's as much as it can be reduced. Okay? So that's day 2. Hopefully you like this. Hopefully you're learning from it. If you like these videos, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel.